This video is an introduction to the history, ideology, and relevance of the Italian Northern League, or Lega Nord.
In 1989, an alliance of multiple northern Italian parties was formed in the European Parliament under the name Alleanza Nord, or Northern Alliance. This alliance was made up of 6 parties: Lega Lombarda, Lega Veneta, Piedmont Autonomista, Union Legere, Lega Emiliano Romagnola, and Alleanza Toscana. In 1991, this alliance became an official political party in the Italian parliament under the name Lega Nord. The northern Italian parties created the center-right coalition. Umberto Bossi, who was the former leader of the Lega Lombarda, became the leader of the Lega Nord. Umberto Bossi was born in 1941 in Cassano Magnago, province of Lombardy. After graduating from high school, he began studying medicine at the University of Pavia. While in school, he met a politician by the name of Bruno Salvadori, who greatly influenced Bossi in his political ideology. After Salvadori died in a car accident in 1980, Bossi began focusing on Lombardy politics, and Lega Lombardi was born. In 1987, Umberto Bossi joined the Italian parliament under his new regionalist party. A few years later, Bossi oversaw the alliance of the Lega Nord party in 1991 and became the subsequent leader of that party. Umberto Bossi served as party secretary of Lega Nord from 1991 until 2012. Under his leadership, the party was focused on resentment of the established Roman politics of the South and the tensions between southern and northern Italians. During the 1990s, the Lega Nord became the 4th largest party in parliament. In 1994, Umberto Bossi and the Lega Nord joined into a governing coalition with Berlusconi and his Forza Italia party. This coalition collapsed by December of the same year after Umberto Bossi threatened to vote no confidence for Berlusconi running for prime minister. 6 years later, in 2000, Umberto Bossi and Berlusconi again joined into a governing coalition, this time under the name of House of Freedoms. In 2011, Berlusconi resigns from politics and is replaced by Mario Monti. In 2012, Bossi suffers from a stroke and resigns from politics amid numerous funding scandals of the party.
Now, next, there is the League. It's a far-right party led by Matteo Salvini, who incredibly, like Renzi, also appeared on an Italian game show. Not just as a 12-year-old child, but also later again when he was 20, answering trivia questions and racing around with boxes on his feet. And I do hope that you enjoyed those clips, because that is as likeable as Salvini gets. He has grown up into a truly poisonous politician. He compared the female Speaker of the House to an inflatable sex doll. He's taken a hard line on immigration, saying out-of-control immigration leads to drug dealing, rape, theft and violence. And he has trafficked in some pretty alarming rhetoric.
There's a need for a mass cleaning, even in Italy, from one street to the next, from one neighborhood to the next, town square to town square, with strong methods if necessary.
Wow. A mass cleaning with strong methods. He sounds like a fascist Mary Poppins, so basically, Mary Poppins. And the frightening thing is, not all Italian voters are concerned by Salvini. One told the New York Times, "I like him because he puts Italians first, and I guess he's a fascist too, what can you do?" To which the obvious answer is, don't vote for him. That's literally the only thing you should do. And if you're thinking at this point, wait, I think I know someone who might really hit it off with this guy. Well, don't worry. Of course they've met. Of course they have. Oh, I'm sorry, you thought maybe Trump would not pop up in this story? Think again. He is truly the Forrest Gump of human misery.
Matteo Salvini was born in Milan, Italy in 1973. While at the University of Milan, he studied political science and history. In 1990, before graduating from university, Matteo Salvini joined politics and became a member of the Lega Nord party. Matteo Salvini has been party secretary of Lega Nord since 2013. Under Matteo Salvini, the party has become more nationalist. The party is very xenophobic, with anti-immigrant sentiments at the forefront of the party ideology. As of 2018, Lega Nord and Matteo Salvini have joined into a governing coalition with the Five Star Movement. Founded by Beppe Grillo and currently led by a young Luigi Di Maio. Matteo Salvini and Luigi Di Maio are both currently serving as deputy prime ministers for Italy.
The ideology of the Lega Nord has changed significantly over time, and is probably best understood in the context of two eras, the Bossi era and the Salvini era. The Lega Nord, at its establishment under Umberto Bossi, was a party of primarily regionalist concerns. Lega doctrine centered around the advancement of Padania, or the Po River Valley, which serves as a rhetorical stand-in for northern Italy. The party's definition of Padania extends as far south as Tuscany. The regionalist ideology of the Lega under Bossi was threefold. First, the people of Padania share fundamental cultural characteristics distinct from southern Italy, from historical roots and regional dialect to a strong work ethic. Second, northern Italy, by contributing disproportionately to the Italian economy, while being unable to benefit from such prosperity in order to give support to the South, was receiving a raw deal. Third, the Lega Nord asserted that the reason for this raw deal was rooted in the faulty government provided by Italy's unitary state, which was in the hands of a corrupt and largely southern political class that repeatedly overlooked the rights and interests of northern Italians. As a remedy for this, the Lega sought a form of government that granted greater autonomy to Padania with threats of secession if Rome would not grant that autonomy. The Lega Nord under Matteo Salvini has taken a significant departure from this regionalist focus and has shifted towards Italian nationalism and hard Euroscepticism. Salvini has worked to de-emphasize the northern origins of the party, as seen in this campaign logo from the 2018 election, and as it will be discussed later, this effort has worked in achieving electoral success south of Padania. The focus of the Lega's wrath has moved from Rome to Brussels. Salvini's rhetoric on the EU has been incredibly vitriolic, even likening the EU to a gulag and the single currency to crimes against humanity. Interestingly, the Lega Nord has not always taken a hard line against European integration, and in fact, early Lega positions on the EU were fairly favorable. There was a thought within the party that the EU, by weakening the power of established states like Italy, laid a favorable groundwork for a stronger Padania. This hit a turning point when the EU refused to recognize Padanian independence in the midst of the Lega Nord's secessionist campaign in the mid-1990s. The Lega Nord, however, could still be described as soft Eurosceptic at the most prior to the ascension of Salvini. Salvini seeks greater Italian independence from the EU and has allied with radical right leaders such as Marine Le Pen and Geert Wilders. Is the Lega Nord radical right? This question is best answered by examining the three facets of radical right parties as described by Dr. Cas Muda: authoritarianism, nativism, and populism. The easiest element to identify in this case is populism. While the targeted elites have changed from Italian politicians to European bureaucrats, the Lega has been anti-elitist from day one. The party does also show strong signs of nativism, with brutal rhetoric against immigrants, Muslim immigrants in particular, that parallels other European radical right parties. The toughest element to identify is authoritarianism, and authoritarian qualities would be difficult to find under Bossi. Under Salvini, however, the party has embraced authoritarian policy goals, such as opposition to LGBT rights and harsher criminal sentencing. Ultimately, the Lega Nord, as it currently stands, fits broadly within the profile of modern European radical right parties, but shows no signs of being an extreme right party in the vein of the defunct MSI.
Historically, Lega Nord has found its greatest electoral success in northern Italy, as a natural result of its regionalist ideology. Logically, Lega Nord did not gain much support from central or southern Italy. From 1992 to 2013, Lega Nord was strongest in the northern regions of Lombardy and Veneto, and in the autonomous region of Friuli Venezia Giulia. These regions, as well as the autonomous region of Aosta Valley, are currently served by regional presidents from the Lega Nord. The party's electorate has historically drawn more from small villages compared to big cities. Lega voters tend to be less educated and employed within small private sectors. Regarding gender, a study completed of the 2008 election showed that men and women supported Lega around the same, but women surprisingly a tad bit more, with 8.5% of women voting for the party and only 8.2% of men. Most voters do not possess strong party identification, however, but choose to vote for Lega Nord due to a sense of belonging to local identities. Nationally, the pattern of Lega Nord's electoral success has been cyclical rather than linear. The party had its first breakthrough in 1992 when it achieved around 8.7% of the vote, then fell slightly in the 1994 elections with 8.4% of the vote. In 1996, the Lega jumped to 10.1% of the vote due to the secessionist movement directed by Bossi. The Lega then declined in numbers in each of the following 6 elections until 2018, when it achieved its greatest success to date with 17.6% of the vote. This recent success can be attributed to the approach of Matteo Salvini. Not only is he a charismatic leader like his predecessor Bossi, but his shift of party ideology away from regionalism and towards nationalism has allowed the Lega to reach voters from all regions of Italy. In 2018, Lega's electoral success for the first time transcended northern Italy. Both Bossi and Salvini possess the characteristics of a charismatic leader discussed previously in class, based on research by Roger Eatwell. Bossi was essentially the founder of Lega Nord and possessed both a radical mission as well as deep issue ownership over the idea of Padanian succession. Salvini has led the Lega Nord in a different direction with a radical mission of anti-immigration policies. Personal presence has also contributed to their success as leaders, with Bossi being seen as politically intelligent and as a visionary, and with Salvini being seen as more approachable than Bossi. Media has also greatly influenced people's perceptions of the two, as the idea of Bossi's Padania and his 3-day River Po demonstration with 50,000 supporters in attendance made headlines in 1996. Salvini's presence on social media continues to grow. With 2.9 million followers, he has even been called the king of Facebook. They both use symbiotic hierarchy to their advantage as well, to portray themselves as ordinary people rather than as politicians. Examples of this include Bossi using a blunt and sometimes violent discourse, and Salvini marketing himself around his willingness to be politically incorrect. They both have targeted enemies as well, as Bossi targeted Southern Italians, while Salvini has targeted immigrants in the EU. Overall, Lega Nord's effect on national policy has been limited. They have seen more policy success regionally, however. For example, in 2015, the Lega Nord governor of Veneto, Luca Zaia, drove out African migrants, citing possible negative effects on the region's tourism industry. Lega Nord's impact on Italian political culture has been its biggest success, with federalism once reaching all mainstream parties' manifestos. The taming effect that Mickenberg hypothesized has also been seen, the idea that under the condition of a stable democracy, holding office produces a taming effect rather than an overall right-sharp turn. The Lega under Bossi shifted from his radical Padanian successionist idea to an overall devolution of government that mainstream parties in 1999 could accept.